What if I told you that your personality and your confidence are two of the most powerful tools you will ever have? They can open doors, build opportunities, and transform the way the world sees you. Yet for most people, these tools are left unsharpened, underdeveloped, and ignored. Think about it. How many times have you walked away from a conversation wishing you'd spoken with more confidence? How many times have you watched someone else take the spotlight, not because they were smarter or more talented, but simply because they carried themselves with presence? Here's the truth. The way you show up in the world matters. And the good news is, you can improve it every single day. This video isn't about fake smiles or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about real transformation. It's about building confidence from within and shaping a personality that reflects your best self. So let's start with the first tip. Your body language speaks louder than words. You've heard it before, but let's break it down. When you walk into a room, before you say a word, people already make judgments about you. They read your posture, your eye contact, your gestures. If your shoulders are slouched, if your eyes are on the ground, if your handshake is weak, you've already communicated insecurity. But imagine walking in with your head high, your shoulders back, and your eyes steady. Suddenly, you don't even have to say a word. Your presence has already spoken for you. There's a powerful quote: "Confidence is silent. Insecurities are loud." You don't need to shout who you are, you need to embody it. And the simplest daily change you can make is to fix your posture, lift your chin, and own your space. Now, the second tip: practice speaking with clarity. Confidence isn't just in what you say, it's in how you say it. You don't need a booming voice or fancy vocabulary. You need clarity. Speak slowly, speak with intention, and let people feel the conviction in your words. Too many people rush through their sentences, mumble, or fill every pause with and But when you slow down, when you allow silence between your words, people listen. Think about leaders you admire. They don't rush. They don't stumble. They command attention because they've mastered the art of clarity. So here's a daily practice. Spend 5 minutes reading something aloud, slowly, clearly, confidently. Over time, your natural speech will transform. The third tip: dress the way you want to be addressed. It may sound shallow, but appearance matters. The way you dress tells the world how seriously you take yourself. You don't need expensive clothes. You need intentionality. Clean, neat, and aligned with the image you want to project. If you want respect, dress with respect. If you want confidence, dress in a way that makes you feel powerful. This isn't about impressing others. It's about reminding yourself daily: I am worth showing up for. The fourth tip: listen more than you talk. Strong personalities aren't the loudest in the room. They're the ones who make others feel seen. When you listen deeply, when you give people your full attention, when you ask thoughtful questions, you become magnetic. People walk away from you thinking, there's something about them. And here's the secret: listening builds confidence, too. Because when you stop worrying about what to say next, you start owning the moment. Now let's bring in a story. There was a young man named Daniel. He was shy, quiet, and invisible in every group. He admired others who spoke confidently, but he believed he wasn't that kind of person. Until one day, a mentor told him, confidence isn't a gift, it's a habit. So Daniel started small. Each day, he practiced his posture. He spoke a little slower. He forced himself to meet people's eyes. He dressed with intention. He asked more questions than he answered. And over time, something amazing happened. People began to notice him. His personality didn't change overnight, but it sharpened daily. His confidence wasn't a sudden burst. It was built step by step. And that's the point. You don't need to become a different person to grow your personality and confidence. You simply need to start with small, consistent steps. Let me leave you with this thought. Confidence isn't about being the loudest. It's about being the truest. Personality isn't about faking charm. It's about refining who you already are. And every day gives you a chance to improve. So today, start with the basics. Straighten your posture. Speak with clarity. Dress with intention. And listen with presence. Because the person you want to be isn't far away. It's already within you, waiting to be unlocked. Confidence isn't built in a single moment. It's built brick by brick, through habits you practice every day. The small choices you make create the person you become. And when you start paying attention to those choices, your personality and confidence transform. The first daily habit: master your self-talk. Your words to yourself are more powerful than anyone else's words. If you tell yourself, "I'm awkward," "I'm not good enough," "I'll never succeed," your brain starts to believe it. You show up in the world exactly as you've programmed yourself to. But if you wake up and say, "I am confident," "I am capable," "I am enough," something shifts inside you. At first, it feels strange, maybe even fake. But repetition creates reality. There's a saying, your body hears everything your mind says. So start feeding your mind daily affirmations. Write them down. Say them out loud. Remind yourself of who you are becoming, not who you used to be. The second habit: discipline your environment. Your surroundings shape your personality more than you realize. If you spend every day in clutter, negativity, and chaos, how can you expect to feel confident? But if you create an environment of order, growth, and inspiration, it pulls you upward. This means cleaning your space, cutting out toxic influences, surrounding yourself with voices that uplift, not drag you down, listening to podcasts, watching motivational content, reading books that feed your mind. Because here's the truth: confidence doesn't just come from within, it comes from what you allow around you. The third habit: do one thing daily that scares you. Confidence is built in discomfort. The more you step outside your comfort zone, the more natural confidence becomes. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting. Maybe it's striking up a conversation with a stranger. Maybe it's sharing your ideas online. It doesn't have to be huge. It just has to push you beyond what feels safe. There was a woman named Mia. She was terrified of public speaking. Her hands shook, her voice cracked, her heart raced whenever she had to talk in front of people. But instead of hiding, she gave herself a challenge. Every day, she would do something small that made her uncomfortable. She introduced herself to strangers. She volunteered to speak in small groups. She practiced in front of a mirror. Months later, she stood on a stage in front of hundreds, calm, clear, confident. Not because fear disappeared, but because she trained herself daily to rise above it. That's the secret. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means acting in spite of it. The fourth habit: keep promises to yourself. Nothing builds confidence faster than self-trust. And nothing destroys it faster than breaking your own word. Every time you say, "I'll wake up early," but you don't, your mind records it. Every time you say, "I'll go to the gym," but you skip, your confidence erodes. You're teaching yourself that your words mean nothing. But when you keep your word, even in small things, you start to trust yourself. You start to feel capable. You start to believe, "I can rely on me." That's where true confidence comes from. Not from praise, not from approval, but from self-respect. The fifth habit: practice gratitude daily. You might wonder, what does gratitude have to do with personality and confidence? The answer is everything. Gratitude shifts your energy. It moves you from a mindset of lack to a mindset of abundance. And people are drawn to those who radiate positivity. When you're grateful, your personality shines brighter. You smile more. You complain less. You attract opportunities. Confidence isn't just about being bold. It's about carrying an energy that makes people want to be around you. Now let's tie it together with a story. There was a man named Alex. He struggled with insecurity his whole life. In school, he was shy. At work, he was overlooked. In relationships, he doubted himself constantly. One day, he decided he was tired of living small. So he made a plan: 5 daily habits. He would start his mornings with affirmations. He would clean and organize his space. He would push himself to do one uncomfortable thing a day. He would keep promises to himself. And he would write down 3 things he was grateful for each night. At first, nothing seemed to change. But slowly, people noticed. Alex stood taller. He spoke clearer. His laugh was louder. He looked people in the eyes. His personality wasn't different, it was revealed. His confidence wasn't new, it was built. And all it took was daily practice. Here's the truth: you don't wake up confident. You become confident by showing up for yourself every single day. You don't magically have a great personality. You develop one through intentional actions, through growth, through self-awareness. So remember this: confidence is built, not born. Personality is shaped, not fixed. Habits are the brushstrokes that paint the masterpiece of who you become. Every day, you have the chance to improve, to step into the person you were always meant to be. And it starts with the small things: your words, your environment, your courage, your discipline, your gratitude. These aren't just tips. They are building blocks. And if you commit to them daily, you'll look back months from now and barely recognize the stronger, more confident version of yourself staring back in the mirror. No excuses. No waiting. Your transformation begins now. If you want to improve your personality and confidence, there's one truth you need to accept. It's not just what you do, it's how you show up. Your communication, your presence, and your emotional control can either elevate you or limit you. And the best part? These are skills you can sharpen every single day. Let's start with communication. The way you speak to others is a mirror of how you see yourself. Confident people don't stumble through conversations with their heads down and voices shaky. They speak with clarity, they listen with intention, and they engage with presence. But here's the mistake many make. They think communication is about talking more. It's not. It's about connection. A simple daily practice is to make eye contact when you speak, not in a way that feels forced, but with genuine attention. Combine that with slowing down your words, removing filler sounds like and and pausing to let your words land. You'll be shocked at how much more powerful you sound. And here's a secret. Confident people ask more questions than they give answers. Why? Because asking questions makes others feel valued, and that's the fastest way to be remembered. Now, let's move to presence. Presence is the energy you carry into every room. Have you ever met someone who didn't say much, yet everyone noticed them? That's presence. It's the silent confidence that radiates from someone who knows their worth. How do you build it? Through self-awareness. Stand tall. Breathe deeply. Be mindful of your movements. When you walk into a room, don't rush, don't shrink. Own the space. There's a quote that says, "When you enter a room, you're either an energy giver or an energy taker." Ask yourself, which one are you? Confident personalities bring energy, warmth, and authenticity. And the beautiful thing is, this isn't about being extroverted or loud. Introverts can have powerful presence, too, by being grounded, intentional, and genuine. Next, emotional control. Your personality is not just how you act when things are going well. It's how you respond when things are falling apart. If you lose your temper easily, if you let stress dominate your interactions, if you lash out when pressured, you may be damaging your personality without even realizing it. Confidence isn't about pretending life is perfect. It's about staying calm in the storm. Here's a tip. When you feel anger rising, pause. Breathe. Count to 5 before speaking. That tiny pause can save you from words you'll regret. It shows maturity, strength, and control. People respect those who can stay calm under pressure. They trust those who don't let emotions dictate their actions. And trust builds influence. Now, let's tie this to a story. There was a man named James. He was smart, talented, and hardworking, but people didn't like working with him. Why? Because he was unpredictable. When things went wrong, he snapped. When stressed, he became impatient. His mood dictated his presence. And despite his skills, he lost opportunities because his personality lacked control. Then there was Anna. She wasn't the most skilled, but she had presence. She communicated clearly, she listened deeply, and she stayed calm even when projects fell apart. People wanted to work with her. They trusted her, and that trust opened doors. James had talent, but no control. Anna had discipline, and she rose higher. That's the difference personality makes. Now let's talk about authenticity. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to improve their personality is faking it. They act like someone else. They put on masks. But here's the truth. Confidence built on fakeness always cracks. Real confidence is rooted in authenticity. This means owning who you are, flaws and all. It means speaking your truth, not what you think people want to hear. It means standing for something, even if not everyone agrees. Authenticity attracts. People can sense when you're genuine. And nothing is more magnetic than someone who is unapologetically themselves. So here's a daily challenge. Stop apologizing for existing. Stop toning yourself down to fit in. Stop pretending to be someone else just to please others. Instead, commit to being the truest version of you, while consistently working on becoming better. And remember, confidence doesn't mean you think you're perfect. It means you're not afraid to be imperfect in front of others. Now, let me leave you with this thought. Your communication shapes how people hear you. Your presence shapes how people feel around you. Your emotional control shapes how people trust you. Your authenticity shapes how people remember you. And when you improve these daily, your personality becomes stronger, your confidence becomes unshakable, and your opportunities multiply. Because at the end of the day, people won't remember the exact words you said or the clothes you wore. They'll remember how you made them feel. And if you show up consistently as confident, authentic, and present, you'll leave a mark that lasts forever. There's a secret to personality and confidence that few people talk about. It's not about the big moments. It's about the small, consistent ones. Consistency is what turns ordinary people into extraordinary leaders. Confidence doesn't appear out of thin air. It grows when you show up for yourself every single day, even when nobody is watching. Think about it. When you see someone who's confident, you're not just seeing their personality. You're seeing the reflection of their habits, their discipline, and their resilience. Let's start with discipline. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. And every time you practice discipline, you strengthen your confidence. Why? Because discipline builds trust in yourself. When you set an alarm and wake up instead of hitting snooze, you tell yourself, I can count on me. When you commit to exercising and actually do it, you prove to yourself, I keep my word. When you finish that task instead of procrastinating, you confirm, I am reliable. And that's the foundation of confidence, self-trust. You can't fake confidence if you don't trust yourself. You can only project true strength when your actions align with your words. Now let's talk about resilience. Resilience is how you respond when things go wrong. Because let's be real, life isn't smooth. You will fail. You will be rejected. You will be doubted. The difference between someone who grows stronger and someone who gives up isn't talent, it's resilience. Confidence isn't saying, I'll never fall. Confidence is saying, when I fall, I'll rise again. There's a quote, fall 7 times, stand up 8. Your personality isn't shaped by your victories alone. It's shaped by how you handle setbacks. People admire resilience. They remember the person who refused to quit. Let me share a story. There was a young man named Eric. He dreamed of becoming a musician. He practiced daily, wrote songs, and poured his heart into his craft. But every time he auditioned, he was rejected. Every time he shared his music, someone criticized. He could have made excuses. He could have given up. But Eric had resilience. He kept going day after day. Years later, he finally got his break. And when people asked him how he kept his confidence through all the rejection, he said, because I knew every no was just practice for my yes. That's the power of resilience. It transforms rejection into redirection. Now, let's connect it to personality. The most magnetic personalities aren't the ones who've had it easy. They're the ones who've been through challenges and grown stronger because of them. They carry depth. They carry wisdom. They carry confidence that can't be shaken because it was built in the fire of struggle. And you can develop that same resilience by practicing one daily habit, reframing challenges. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? Instead of saying, this is the end, say, this is the beginning of something new. That small shift in perspective changes everything. Suddenly, problems aren't dead ends. They're stepping stones. Failures aren't defeats. They're lessons. And with each challenge, your personality becomes richer, your confidence becomes stronger, and your presence becomes more inspiring. Now let's bring this together. Discipline shapes your actions. Resilience shapes your reactions. Consistency ties them together into a lifestyle. When you consistently practice discipline, you build self-trust. When you consistently practice resilience, you build courage. And when you combine both, your personality becomes magnetic and your confidence unshakable. Think about people you admire. They didn't become who they are overnight. They became that way through years of showing up daily, refusing excuses, and embracing challenges. You can do the same. Here's your challenge for today. Pick one small discipline and commit to it daily. It could be making your bed, journaling for 5 minutes, or exercising for 10. When a challenge comes, reframe it. Instead of letting it break you, let it build you. Track your progress. Watch how, over weeks and months, your personality sharpens and your confidence grows. Because confidence isn't about pretending you're unbreakable. It's about proving, day after day, that you can bend without breaking. And when people see that in you, discipline, resilience, consistency, they'll not only respect you, they'll be drawn to you. Your personality will shine, not because you tried to impress anyone, but because you became the kind of person who inspires others without even trying. That's the true power of daily habits. That's the true foundation of personality and confidence. You've learned that personality and confidence aren't fixed, they're built. Step by step, habit by habit, choice by choice. And when you commit to improving them daily, you don't just change how the world sees you. You change how you see yourself. Think about where we started. Confidence isn't about being loud. Personality isn't about being fake. It's about presence. It's about authenticity. It's about courage, discipline, and resilience. And most importantly, it's about consistency. The small things you do every day, the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the promises you keep, the fears you face, the gratitude you practice. Those things add up. They shape the person you are becoming. And here's the truth. The person you're becoming is either built by excuses or built by effort. Which side will you choose? Because 1 year from now, you will either look back with pride at how far you've come or regret that you stayed the same. Imagine this. You walk into a room and people notice your presence, not because you're loud, but because you radiate confidence. You engage in conversations with ease, connecting with people deeply. You stand tall, calm under pressure, unshaken by negativity. You attract opportunities, not because you chase them, but because your personality pulls them in. That version of you is possible. It's not a dream. It's not reserved for others. It's waiting for you. And the bridge to that version of you is built daily. No giant leap, no overnight miracle, just consistent, intentional steps. Let me tell you one final story. There was a man named David who struggled with insecurity all his life. He avoided eye contact. He kept quiet in conversations. He turned down opportunities because he didn't believe in himself. One day, a mentor told him, "Confidence isn't something you wait for, it's something you build. And personality isn't something you're stuck with, it's something you refine." David took it to heart. Each day, he practiced one habit. He stood taller. He spoke slower. He listened more. He kept promises to himself. He faced one small fear a day. And slowly, his life transformed. Months later, people began to notice. His boss trusted him with leadership roles. His friends described him as magnetic. His family saw a new spark in him. David hadn't changed who he was. He had uncovered who he was always meant to be. And that's the message for you. You don't need to wait. You don't need permission. You don't need to be born with natural confidence. You need to commit to the daily process of becoming the best version of yourself. Because confidence isn't a gift, it's a responsibility. Personality isn't fixed, it's a choice. Every day, you are sculpting yourself. Every decision is shaping your character. Every habit is building your identity. So ask yourself, what kind of person are you building? The person who hides behind fear? Or the person who rises above it? The person who makes excuses? Or the person who makes progress? The person who waits for opportunities? Or the person whose personality creates them? The answer is in your actions. And the time to act is now. So here's my challenge for you. Start small, but start today. Practice your posture. Speak with clarity. Face one small fear. Keep one promise. Write one thing you're grateful for. Do it again tomorrow. Do it again the day after. Keep building. Keep sharpening. Keep growing. And soon, you'll look in the mirror and see a version of yourself you're proud of. A version that commands respect, radiates confidence, and carries a personality that inspires others. Because the world doesn't need another copy. It needs the strongest, truest version of you. Your future is waiting. Your opportunities are waiting. Your transformation is waiting. And it all begins with a decision. Today, backhand index pointing right. If this message lit a fire inside you, don't stop here. Join us at Mind Fire Motivation, where we bring you powerful stories, strategies, and inspiration to keep you growing every day. Subscribe now and keep feeding your mind with fuel for your fire. Because your personality is your power, your confidence is your weapon, and your habits are the keys to unlocking both. So stand tall, speak boldly, live authentically, and remember, every day is your chance to improve. The question is, will you take it?